In John 13, we see Jesus preparing to eat dinner with his disciples to celebrate the Passover feast. But before he does this, he does something really magnificent, something unexpected, something that a rabbi, certainly not a Messiah, should have been doing. He got up from the table, took off his robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he had around him. Jesus begins to wash feet. So today is Maundy Thursday. Palm Sunday, he triumphantly enters Jerusalem, and the people were celebrating. But by the end of the week, they will realize they'll get whipped into a frenzy by the Pharisees. He's not the one that they wanted. He's not the conquering hero. And the Pharisees, attempting to protect themselves, actually plot to kill him, and the crowds go along with it. But knowing this is about to happen, Jesus spends time before they accomplish their Jewish rituals and celebrate the Passover, and takes the form of a servant, taking off his outer garments, a towel around himself, just some basic clothes, and a towel to go around and wash their feet. Now keep in mind, this is the ancient world. They didn't have, chukka boots like I'm wearing. They were wearing sandals. They were walking on dusty roads where animals walked and defecated. That's a fancy word for pooped. And so they've got all told numbers of gross things on their feet. And so usually this was a task relegated to the lowest of the low, to the servant. But Jesus, the Messiah, God in human flesh, the one who is to usher in the kingdom of heaven through sacrifice, says, I'll be your lowly servant. This little story is in John 13, if you want to turn with me, and I'm going to pick this back up in John 13:6. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said to him, Lord, are you going to wash my feet? Jesus replied, you don't understand now what I'm doing, but someday you will. No, Peter protested, you will never, ever wash my feet. Oh, Peter, lovable Peter, who just continually didn't get it. I think we're all Peter at different points in our lives. Jesus replied, unless I wash you, you won't belong to me. Simon Peter exclaimed, well, then wash my hands and head as well, Lord, not just my feet. Jesus replied, a person who is bathed all over does not need to wash except for the feet to be entirely clean. And you disciples are clean, but not all of you. For Jesus knew who would betray him. That is what he meant when he said, not all of you are clean. And after washing their feet, he put on his robe again and sat down and asked, do you understand what I was doing? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right because that's what I am. And since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I have given you an example to follow. Do as I have done to you. I tell you the truth, slaves are not greater than their master, nor is the messenger more important than the one who sends the message. Now that you know these things, God will bless you for doing them. So in this time of quarantine, and you can hear the echo of the church lobby, there's no people, there's no stuff, there's nothing happening. What I would be getting ready for is setting up for a Maundy Thursday service in which we would follow Jesus's command and wash each other's feet. And I'd have you sit here with one of your feet bare and stick your foot over the bowl, and I would slosh some water in and wipe that foot dry. Symbolic of the servanthood that I'm willing to take on for you. But then, see, I would only be starting it. And then I would stand up. And the person sitting here would then turn and take this spot. And they would wash the next person's foot. And they would wash the next person's foot. And we would serve each other. So today on Maundy Thursday, we're stuck at home. I mean, maybe your parents are essential and they're out at working their jobs at grocery stores or hospitals or working utilities, things like that. But what's a way you can wash their feet? Maybe that's something that would completely freak them out. And maybe you talk about it, you read them this passage, and if you're all believers, maybe you go ahead and do that anyway. But maybe you wash their feet by babysitting the siblings and entertaining them for an hour while mom gets a nap, while dad gets to go for a walk. Maybe you clean the kitchen. Maybe, without even asking, you fully organize your room. Maybe, in the spirit of Maundy Thursday, tomorrow, you set your alarm early enough to get up and fix breakfast for the family. Whoa. But our devotion, my question for today is, like Christ, God in human flesh, truly the greatest among humans, who was willing to serve and do the lowest of the low for us. How can we share in that servanthood, in that Christ-likeness, and become more like Christ? By serving those around us in deep and significant ways. I hope that you find a creative and perhaps even fun way to serve each other. But even if it's not, remember, the feet that Jesus was washing were pretty nasty. Maybe the best way to show love is to do something really difficult or nasty for those around you. I'll be looking for a way to serve my family this way today, and I hope you find something to do too. On your journey, if you need help, if you need an idea, feel free to give me a call, a message, something. But remember, you're not alone. Jesus washed feet, we've washed feet, and now as you wash feet, you're simply jumping in line with a whole line of people who are willing to sacrifice for others simply because they deserve it, and this shows them the love of God. I hope you have a wonderful time sharing the love of God today. You're loved. Be safe. Keep your distance, and hopefully we'll be able to see each other soon and celebrate things like this in person once again. Have a good day. Go with God.